You need to hear this before April 1st actually hits. Because there's a lot of people who are about to step into a new month with the same mindset, the same habits, and actually the same results. And then got the audacity to turn around and ask God why nothing is changing. But let me tell you the truth, and I want you to hear me out. It's not always the devil attacking you. Sometimes it's the devil distracting you. Yes, he don't always come to destroy. He'll distract. Because if he can't stop you, he's going to do something to actually slow you down. See, he'll delay you. And if he can't take your purpose, he keep you comfortable in a version of yourself where you don't want to grow, that you never step into it, and that you continue to just go in circles. And the crazy part is, it don't even feel like an attack anymore. It feels like I'll start tomorrow. I just need a little bit more time. I'm not ready yet. And you don't realize it. But right now, I'm telling you this before April starts. Because you are being tricked by the devil. And I want to use the scripture. And the Bible says Satan disguises himself as an angel of light. And which it means everything that feels okay, you got to remember, ain't always God. Just because it feels comfortable doesn't mean it's from God. Doesn't mean it's correct. Just because it feels easy doesn't mean it feels, it's actually from God. Doesn't mean it's aligned. Think about all that I'm telling you. And this is where people mess this up. They mess it up because you think the enemy shows up loud. That's what you think. But most of the time, he shows up quiet and, different ways that makes you feel comfort. He'll show up in your routine, your habits, your thinking, even in your relationships, keeping you, just productive enough to feel like you're doing something, but not disciplined enough to let go, to actually change anything. So a lot of us, we don't know. And that's why we stuck in this cycle. But let me free you, because a lot of us almost was close to changing, almost close to growing, almost close to becoming, but not fully stepping into it because what I say, the enemy's just distracting you. So I need you to catch this time before this month actually start, the month of April actually start. Because this part right here, what I'm about to say, is what's keeping people stuck for, months, years. You waiting to feel like you ready before you actually move. And that's what the enemy's keeping you at. But readiness is one of the biggest lies, and that's sent from the enemy. So you got to break away. You can believe, you can trust, but because you don't become ready by thinking about it, it's by you doing it. So you have to start doing stuff. And a lot of people in my comments be like, oh, I'm stuck. What I should do? You have to get confidence. Pray for confidence. You don't build confidence by waiting. You build confidence by moving. So move even when it feels scary. And I'm telling you this, every time you delay, you actually reinforce the old version of you. And you got to stop doing that. And every time you say later, your strength, the habits that you had, the old habits, you strengthening them. You trying to break them, but you actually strengthening them by saying, oh, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this later. And then you sit back confused while your life still looking the same. And I'm talking to y'all because I know y'all can relate. I've been there. But you've been making the same decisions just in different days. And I'm not saying this to judge anybody. Like I just said, I've been through it, so I can talk to y'all like this. I'm saying this because I was previously in the situation, knowing what God told me to do, but still hesitated, still overthinking, still going back and forth, still wrestling with my mind. I know. That's why I say you have to hear this before you start this new month. Actually start this new month. And I was sitting there wondering why I still felt stuck. But the truth was, I wasn't stuck. You not stuck. I just wasn't moving. I wasn't actually taking the initiative to move in my life. And that's the part that nobody wants to admit. But once you admit that, you break free from that. Because it's easy to say, it's not my time yet. You're going to sit around and wait on your time? Then I say, I'm going to act on it. And a lot of y'all are not acting on what you already know. And that's where deception comes in. Because delay obedience still keeps you in disobedience. I'm going to say that again. Delay obedience still keeps you in disobedience. Yeah. And that one hit me different. So I know if you're watching this video, it's hitting you different right now. Because some of you already know what you're supposed to be doing right now. But you're putting it off. You're putting it on the back burner because you have something else that you're feeding into that you want to do. So you haven't committed to it yet. And when I tell you the enemy loves space, he loves space to cause deception, spread lies, whisper lies. So that space between what you know and what you do, that's where it keeps you stuck. That's where you're pinpointing right now. This is your confirmation. The enemy keeps you stuck in what you know and what you should do. You feeding your thoughts like, you got time. You'll do it eventually. Just wait until things get better. Wait till I get this amount of money. And by the time you get that amount of money, it's spent because you don't have the discipline. You don't know how to manage what you already have. And before you know it, weeks turn into months. Months turn into years. And that's where people become, resentful, bitter. You can't blame nobody but yourself that you're still in the same place with more frustration and less belief. But I really, really, really need y'all to hear this clear this time because I want to save you months, years of going through a repeated cycle. You're not waiting on God. God is waiting on you. And most of y'all are confused because you scared to act on it. But let me remind you, God has already gave you the instructions. He's already showed you the directions. But you haven't turned the noise down and you didn't take the blindfolds off your eyes. But actions is your responsibility. Start putting your actions to work. And this is where everything, actually shifts. Because the moment that you actually, decide, I'm not staying here anymore, your life starts changing. You start changing. Things around you start changing. Even your situation is changing, even if it hasn't caught up yet. And that's the part people are scared of. People don't understand because it's not for you to understand. We know, lean not to your own understanding, but you have to trust in God with all your heart. Trust in the Lord with all your heart. So you don't just become different after things change. You become different after you change. So when I tell you this, before April 1st, This is your moment. Listen to me, guys. This is your moment. Not to make another plan, not to wait for, motivation for your favorite speaker to tell you something, but this is a moment to make a decision. A decision to say, I'm not going to keep doing the same thing over and over again. Actually make a real decision this time. I'm not going into this next month or the month of April as the same version of me. You have the opportunity to keep going, keep believing, keep striving for greatness. And I'm not saying you got to be perfect. I'm not saying you got to change in one day, because it's not going to happen. I'm just saying you got to be intentional. You got to stop negotiating with the habits. Break free from those habits. They're keeping you stuck. I'm going to do this. I'm going to watch my favorite influencer and feel good for that second. But you don't grasp. You don't make that decision. You don't move forward. So you got to stop going back to that mindset you're trying to leave. Stop entertaining thoughts. Stop entertaining, quotes. And start doing the small things. That's going to help you. Because a lot of things that you're watching and keeping you small, they're keeping you small. Because at some point, you got to stop revisioning that old version of you and fully start stepping into who you're becoming, because you're becoming somebody great. And yeah, I said it, you're becoming somebody great. And I get it. It's uncomfortable, but it's necessary. It's necessary for you to lock in. And I'm telling you from my personal experience, it's going to feel unfamiliar, but growth always feel like that. It always does. And comfort, when I tell you about comfort, it's where purpose goes to die. Whew. You don't want your purpose to die. So if it feels uncomfortable, good. That's what it's supposed to feel like. That means you're moving. Because if you feel comfortable in it, hey, that's where you're gonna stay stuck at. But when you feel uncomfortable and it's unfamiliar, that means you're stretching. That means you're becoming. So if you feel like that on this day, before April 1st, that's what it's supposed to be. That's what it is actually really about. Not perfection, but alignment. So stay aligned to what God has for you. See, aligning your actions with what you say, what you believe, actually. Think about it. Because aligning your decisions with God or who God called you to be, man, I'm telling y'all, here's different, it looks different. Because belief without actions, will always keep you stuck. So let that be your reminder. You don't want to stay stuck. You don't want to be stuck. So I don't want you to go into April with the same mindset, same excuses, same habits, and the same delays. You got to do better. When you know better, when you actually know better, you do better. So the version of you right now that you've been trying to outgrow, you got to put it into work. You got to put it into action. This is your moment. So whoever you are, or you know somebody like this, send it to them to break that cycle. Hey, if you're new to the channel, like I said, hit that subscribe button, turn on your post notifications so you don't miss any video that I post. But like I said, this was your confirmation to move forward and finally step into it. So stop playing it small. Blessings.